In a significant diplomatic engagement, Burkina Faso hosted a high-level delegation from Egypt at a time marked by sensitive political narratives and heightened security concerns in the Sahel region. This visit, which included over 30 Egyptian business leaders, aimed to strengthen bilateral relations, open investment opportunities, and counter prevailing misconceptions circulating across international and digital media platforms. Before we proceed into the full details of this important development, we kindly invite you to like this video. Your engagement helps ensure this content reaches more viewers who value informed, nuanced discussions about Africa's international relations and development efforts. The Egyptian delegation's visit came during a time when Burkina Faso has been the subject of increased scrutiny and speculation, particularly online. Social media platforms have been saturated with content portraying the country in a negative light, often as a region engulfed in insecurity, instability, and isolation. However, Egyptian representatives, led by their foreign minister, emphasized that their first-hand experience of Burkina Faso offered a very different perspective, one rooted in cooperation, shared goals, and long-term development ambitions. The visit was notable not only for its political significance, but also for its economic and symbolic value. The Egyptian minister remarked that the delegation did not shy away from current challenges. Rather, they approached the visit as an opportunity to understand the on-ground reality and engage directly with Burkina Faso's leadership and people. The delegation's objective was clear: to reinforce trust, explore viable investment avenues, and affirm Egypt's interest in advancing South-South cooperation. In remarks during the visit, Burkina Faso's foreign minister acknowledged the courage and clarity of Egypt's position. He expressed appreciation that Egypt had chosen to immerse itself in the real situation rather than rely solely on third-party narratives. "You came to see for yourselves," he said, "and your presence here sends a strong signal that our country remains not only viable, but full of potential." The Egyptian delegation comprised over 30 business leaders representing sectors such as mining, energy, agriculture, infrastructure, and pharmaceuticals. These investors explored opportunities for mutual benefit, signaling interest in long-term partnerships rather than short-term engagement. This pragmatic approach reflects a shift in how African nations, including Burkina Faso, are seeking to redefine their international partnerships based on equality, sovereignty, and mutual development. Diplomatic relations between Egypt and Burkina Faso date back to 1978, with both countries maintaining embassies and engaging in periodic exchanges of expertise and diplomatic consultations. Over the years, their relationship has evolved from basic diplomatic courtesies to more multifaceted collaboration involving education, security, trade, and development. One of the outcomes of this recent visit was the signing of a Memorandum of Understanding, MOU, between the two foreign ministries. The MOU aims to serve as a working roadmap to deepen political, economic, and cultural ties. Both countries agreed to work together across key development sectors, with coordination at the ministerial level to follow through on agreed-upon goals. The Egyptian foreign minister conveyed a personal message from President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi to Burkina Faso's transitional president, Captain Ibrahim Traoré. The message emphasized Egypt's support for Burkina Faso's efforts to maintain its territorial integrity, combat terrorism, and promote national sovereignty. According to the Egyptian delegation, this stance stems from Egypt's broader view that the security of African nations is interconnected and that the Sahel's stability is crucial for continental peace. This message aligns with Burkina Faso's position that its struggle against terrorism requires not only military responses, but also regional collaboration and development-based strategies. The authorities in Ouagadougou have consistently emphasized that long-term peace in the region can only be achieved through education, infrastructure development, agricultural reform, and cross-border cooperation. The Egyptian minister also made it clear that his country's support extends beyond politics. In addition to security and diplomatic coordination, Egypt is also offering capacity-building programs and training initiatives for Burkina Faso professionals, particularly in defense, agriculture, and civil administration. These initiatives will be supported by Egypt's official development agencies and relevant ministries, such as the Ministry of Defense and the Ministry of International Cooperation. Importantly, Egypt emphasized the significance of promoting South-South cooperation, a development philosophy advocating for stronger ties among countries of the Global South. This principle has increasingly become a central pillar of African diplomacy, especially among countries looking to reduce dependence on traditional Western aid and foster more autonomous economic systems. According to both sides, the future of African development must prioritize internal partnerships and regional solutions. A key part of the visit was the Egypt-Burkina Faso Investment Forum, which brought together business leaders, policymakers, and sector specialists. The forum served as a platform to identify immediate opportunities and propose long-term projects in areas such as renewable energy, agricultural mechanization, infrastructure rehabilitation, and industrial development. Several Egyptian companies expressed interest in Burkina Faso's untapped natural resources and emerging consumer markets. Likewise, Burkina Faso officials presented the country as an emerging hub for trade in West Africa, citing recent reforms, logistical improvements, and its strategic geographical position as key advantages. The tone of the discussions during the forum was forward-looking, with a focus on stability, mutual growth, and resilience. Rather than focusing on existing challenges, participants emphasized how cooperation and targeted investments could transform difficulties into opportunities. Both governments pledged to facilitate visa arrangements, business registrations, and operational logistics to ensure smoother implementation of future joint ventures. Throughout the visit, Egyptian and Burkina Faso diplomats reiterated their mutual respect for sovereignty and non-interference in domestic affairs, a diplomatic approach increasingly seen among African nations forming new blocs, such as the Confederation of Sahel States, which includes Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. Egypt acknowledged this confederation as an important political development in the region and expressed interest in supporting regional stability while maintaining diplomatic neutrality. In that regard, the Egyptian minister reaffirmed Egypt's recognition of Burkina Faso's right to self-defense and its broader efforts to secure its national territory. He also stated that Egypt respects each country's sovereign decisions and is willing to work with regional alliances that promote peace and development. In addition to formal engagements, the visit included symbolic gestures. The Egyptian minister praised the resilience of Burkina Faso's population and expressed solidarity with those affected by terrorism and displacement. He commended local authorities, military personnel, and civil society actors for their dedication to peace and national unity. Moreover, the two foreign ministers discussed broader African Union priorities, such as regional integration, electoral reforms, food security, and climate adaptation. Egypt reaffirmed its commitment to supporting African consensus candidates in international institutions, while Burkina Faso reiterated its support for Egypt's current candidate for a high-level position in a multilateral body. On the security front, both nations agreed to share intelligence and conduct joint training programs to enhance counter-terrorism capabilities. Discussions also touched on transnational issues such as human trafficking, arms smuggling, and border control, areas where both countries see room for enhanced cooperation. One important takeaway from the visit is that it highlights the changing tone of African diplomacy. Increasingly, African countries are opting for partnerships based on mutual respect and shared development goals rather than one-sided arrangements. The Egypt-Burkina Faso visit can be viewed as part of this broader trend toward intra-African engagement, with countries seeking to define their own paths without external imposition. Following the delegation's stay in Ouagadougou, the Egyptian minister announced plans to extend the mission to neighboring Mali and Niger, two other countries in the Sahel facing similar challenges and undergoing similar transformations. Egypt's multi-country tour suggests a broader effort to engage with the Sahel on diplomatic and economic terms, aligning with its continental foreign policy priorities. For viewers following developments across Africa, this visit signals a strategic alignment that may shape future relations between North and West Africa. As Egypt and Burkina Faso take steps to operationalize their agreements, there will be close attention on how the partnership translates into tangible projects and measurable outcomes. We encourage you to continue following our channel for in-depth coverage on this story and other important developments across the continent. If you found this report useful, feel free to like and share it. Your engagement helps promote balanced and accurate reporting on African affairs. And for more updates on diplomatic, economic, and regional stories, consider subscribing to Voice of Africa. In closing, while challenges remain for Burkina Faso and the wider Sahel, the recent visit by Egypt shows that there is a growing willingness among African nations to take ownership of their futures. Through dialogue, economic cooperation, and shared commitments to peace and development, new pathways are emerging, built not on fear, but on strategic collaboration. And it is through such efforts that the continent moves closer to realizing its full potential, by standing together, building together, and shaping a future that reflects its own aspirations.